If you're like me, every year you set a New Year's resolution, you spend a couple weeks thinking about it, maybe making some efforts towards it, before you eventually forget about it until the new year rolls around. Well, this year, I decided to set some pretty specific goals for myself surrounding my small business, which is crochet, and I'm determined to make sure I'm actually sticking to these goals and making proper efforts for them throughout the entire year and not forgetting about it a couple months in. If you're new here, hi, my name is Eli. It's great to have you guys here. I started up my own small business around 8 months ago now, and a few months ago I started my YouTube channel to help promote my things, post some fun tutorials, and build up a community with other crocheters. At the beginning of this year, I posted a video going over all of my crochet goals for 2025, and I set some clear goals of a bunch of things that I'd really like to work towards and accomplish this year. So to help me hold myself accountable, I decided I'm going to check in every 3 months, review all of the goals I have, see how well I've hit them, if I need to make any new ones, or if there's any that I've forgotten about. So today we're going to go over all of those goals and see how well we've done. While I go over this, I am going to work on making one of these little leafy chains as just some decoration for my room and to use up some scrap yarn that's been sitting on my shelves for a while. It's a super easy pattern, so it's something I can work on without thinking too much. And if anyone's interested, at the end of this video, I will give a quick tutorial on how to make this. So getting into the goals, other than today when I was prepping for this video, I hadn't looked at these goals in the last 3 months. And today, as I'm recording this, it is March 26th, so we're almost 3 months into the year. So the first goal that I had on my list was to release more patterns. My overall goal with this was to release 1 pattern a month, hoping that I could get some more some months, and maybe some months I won't be able to hit that, but trying to keep an average of 1 a month, so that way at the end of the year I will have released at least 12 patterns. Well, I have absolutely hit that one, and I have released way more than I thought I would. It did help that I had a bunch already drafted up and in mind going into the new year, but I have released a total of 6 new patterns so far. So the patterns that I released was the Crochet Blunt, Jake the Dog from Adventure Time, Gunter the Penguin from Adventure Time, Lumpy Space Princess from Adventure Time. I also released a Chunky Axolotl pattern and a Mushroom Lighter holder. That one I really loved. I also released 3 tutorials, which was the bell sleeve mesh top, absolutely one of my favorites. I also released a Crochet Blunt tutorial that goes along with that pattern that I released earlier. And I released a scrap yarn sweater tutorial. So that is 6 patterns and 3 tutorials, so a total of basically 9 patterns / tutorials in just about 3 months. So I am super happy with that. It's way more than I thought I would be hitting at this point, and I think all of the work that I put towards this is definitely showing. I'm not expecting myself to maintain 3 a month, but if I do, that's amazing. I just want to make sure I continue to maintain 1 a month. The next thing I had on my list was to have more variety on my Etsy. My Etsy started out with mainly hats because that's one of the first crochet things I made and something that I really do enjoy making. And then I'd added in some plushies and just some other small things, but it's primarily been hats. So my goal was to add some more variety there and just get some new things up. So I wanted to add more plushies and more wearables. Those are my 2 main things. And I think I have definitely hit that one as well. I've made a couple of videos about making things for my Etsy. One of them was making a bunch of red and pink things for Valentine's Day. And through those videos, I've added a ton of stuff like coasters, lighter holders, wearables, a bunch of different ones like sweaters, shirts, mittens, other accessories. I've also updated the listing photos for almost every single listing I have on my Etsy, and I feel like my Etsy is looking so much better than it did when I started. I'm always updating my Etsy, of course. I'm always looking through it, seeing which pictures can be better, what listings need some more information. But I've put a lot of effort, especially in the last couple weeks, just to making sure all of the pictures I have up there are good pictures that properly show the items. So number 2, I have absolutely hit as well, and I'm very happy with that. I'd like to continue with adding some more items to my shop, but I don't want to just make things just for the sake of making something. I want to make sure it's something that I am happy about, that I think is a really good product, and that I take my time to make. The next goal that I had on my list was to continue regular posting, and I split that up on what posts I want to do daily and which ones I want to do on a weekly basis. So with short videos, my goal was to post daily with those, just a minimum of 1 post, either a post or like a reel short type thing. And then the second category was weekly, which was for long videos, and my goal was to post at least 1 long video a week. This one was one of the goals that I set as a fairly loose goal, where if I'm really not feeling it, if I'm not happy with the content I'm posting, or if it's just a day that I really just don't have content to post, or I really don't want to, I won't. And I'm not going to get mad at myself for that. I'm not going to hold myself to a standard that I don't feel comfortable meeting if I don't in that moment. But in general, I have hit that. I have posted weekly on YouTube every single week since the beginning of this year, and some weeks I've posted twice. All of the videos I've posted, I've been happy with. I like what I've been posting. I feel like I'm doing as good of a job as I can at this moment in where I am on learning how to do all these things. And I've posted daily, at least most days, multiple times on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, because I just post the same thing on all of those for the most part. So I've definitely hit that, and I'm not feeling burnt out at all with it. I'm not feeling like I'm pushing myself too hard. I've slowed down a little bit on my daily posts, and I haven't hit them a couple days just because I really wasn't feeling like filming content, and I'm okay with that. But then I'm gonna get some more videos out, post some more on some days, and post less on other days, and I'm fine with that. So goal number 3, absolutely hit, and I'd love to maintain that. Goal number 4 was to do some crochet challenges, and this is the only one so far on this list that I have not hit. I've done a couple of videos that are kind of in the theme of a crochet challenge. I did one really, which was how much can I crochet in 12 hours, and I really enjoyed that one. It pushed me a lot to see how much I could make in one day basically. I did it across a 12-hour period with breaks included in that, but that's really only one like challenge video, and I love to get a lot more. And so I think with my weekly posting on YouTube, I'd like to incorporate some more crochet challenges in there. I have a few ideas for them, like how much can I crochet in a day, how much can I crochet in a week, doing a color challenge where you do each color of the rainbow, how much can I crochet of one particular item, whatever. I just think that it'd be fun to bring some more variety onto my YouTube here, and I think these challenges could be a fun way to just make some new stuff and make some interesting content. Number 4, I would say like I've really done one video that suits that goal, but nothing else. Goals number 5 and 6 kind of went hand in hand. So it was get better yarn storage and organize and cake up all of my scrap yarn. And I have absolutely done that. So if you guys haven't seen, I did post a video of organizing my scrap yarn and setting up my new room. If you don't know me, I did move a couple months ago, and with starting my new business, I had most of my supplies and stock just in boxes and bags all over my house, and now it was just all over my room. So I finally got a big shelving unit. I unpacked all of my crochet things and put them all up on that unit. I got a nice desk, so I have a good working area now. And then I went through all of the boxes and bags I had of yarn, caked all of it up, organized all of my scrap yarn, and got it all up onto my shelves. So goals number 5 and 6 can be completely removed from the list because that is done. It is a project that is completely finished. All I need to do is just continue to maintain the organization of my yarn, but in general, I don't have problems with that as long as I have enough space for it, which I do at the moment. So out of those 6 goals, I think I have completely hit 5 of them. At the moment, I am maintaining those, and I feel like I'm on really good track to continue those for the rest of the year. And then there is that one goal of doing more crochet challenges, and I have some good ideas in mind for that, and I think that's a very achievable goal for this year. But now I want to go through and set some new goals for the next 3 months, the next quarter of the year, and just make sure I know exactly what I want to accomplish in the next 3 months. So for the next 3 months of this year, I have 4 goals that I'm going to be keeping in mind. First one is maintaining the posting schedule, which is roughly once a day for short form and roughly once a week for long form. If I can and I feel up to it, posting multiple times a day is great, and posting 2 long videos a week would also be great, but this is still a fairly loose goal. Minimum once a week for long videos and as often as I can for short videos. Second one is maintaining posting a pattern or a tutorial every month so that I can hit my goal of 12 patterns/tutorials this year. Same thing, if I can get more out in 1 month without compromising the work and compromising my own health, absolutely I will, but minimum 1 a month. The next goal, as we've discussed, is doing more crochet challenges, and I don't think I'll have any problem with hitting that. I would love some more ideas for those, so if you guys have any ideas on just challenges or other content you want me to post, absolutely let me know so you can help me with hitting that goal. But really, I just want to make sure what I'm posting is interesting for you guys and it's what you guys are looking for. The last goal I have, number 4, is to revisit my old projects. This is something I've been keeping in mind, and it just goes along with the organizing of my yarn and all of my supplies and stock. I've been crocheting since I was a kid, so I've been crocheting for probably about 15 years now, but it was really just a small hobby up until like less than a year ago. But around a year ago is when I realized I would have to quit my full-time job, and I took it as an opportunity to start this business. And I did have to relearn a lot of crochet things because I hadn't put much effort into it previously, as all of my time went to working my full-time job. So I have a lot of old projects that are not up to the same quality that I would like them to be now. And a lot of them are not functional pieces. There's all of my half-finished projects, and I would love to go through these, see if I can make any of them into new projects, and see if I can get any yarn from just frogging them. And this is one of the crochet videos that I'd like to post, which is a finish it or frog it video, where I go through my old projects and decide if I can finish it, fix it, or if I should just frog it and get the yarn back. So after revisiting and reworking all of my goals, I do think that these 4 goals are realistic and achievable for the next few months. If you guys had any goals for this year, I'd love to hear what goals you are holding yourself to, if there's any things you've struggled with, or if there's things that have been way easier than you thought they would be. Let me know in the comments because I'd love to see what you guys are doing. So that is it for my goals, but as promised, there will be a quick little tutorial on how to make my leafy vine thing, so stay tuned for that. Sorry about the glare here on the table. This is the best service I have for recording tutorials. My lighting is not the best yet. But to make this chain, all you're going to need is some yarn and a hook. I'm going to be double straining my yarn and using 2 thinner weight 3/4s. This one is the Caron Simply Soft Acrylic, and this one is the Loops and Threads Heathered Tweed. I believe this one is marked as a weight 3. But the Caron Simply Soft is marked as a weight 4, even though it is fairly thin. So I'm going to be double straining that, and with them I'll be using a 5mm hook. I do have a fairly loose tension, so this works great for me, but whatever yarn you're using, just make sure you adjust your hook size accordingly. We're going to start by just making a slip knot. I do this by holding the end of my yarn in my left hand. I wrap the yarn around my finger to make a circle, pull that off, and then I put my working yarn, the yarn that's attached to the ball, I put that behind it, and then I push it up and through the circle, and then I just pull the ends, and I have a slip knot. If you need a more in-depth tutorial on any of these, I do have some other videos posted, so this one will be a fairly quick one. Then we're just going to put it on our hook and tighten up our slip knot. And we're going to start it by making some chains. I like to start by chaining 15, and whatever chain we make is going to be the length of our starting chain plus the length of our leaf. So that's 12, 13, 14, and 15. Then we're going to be working back into our chains to create our leaf, but we're going to be working into the back bumps. So when you see a chain, the top of it has these 2 loops like a V, which looks like the top of a regular stitch. When you flip it over, the back of it, we call that the back bumps, where there's just one single bump. When working into the chain, your instinct might be to work into the top of it like a regular stitch, but when we do that, it leaves only the back bump on the other side, which tends to give it a bit of an unfinished look. So I prefer to work into those back bumps, leave these 2 loops on the outside, and it makes it look a little bit more finished and a bit more seamless with the rest of our piece. So we're going to work into these back bumps, starting with the second one from our chain. So we're skipping that first bump. We're going to go into that second chain and place a single crochet. This is going to be the tip of our leaf. In the next stitch, we'll place a half double crochet. Then we'll place a double crochet. Then we'll do a half double crochet. Then we're going to skip the next chain and slip stitch into the second one. For this stitch, I like to go into 2 of the loops. So I pick up this back bump, but then I also pick up that next chain right beside it. This is optional, I just find it cinches up the bottom of the leaf a little bit better. So I'm going to pick up that back bump and the loops right behind it, and then slip stitch. And that's a really easy way to make a nice little leaf. I tend to adjust mine a little bit so that they're nice and pointed at the end, but that's really all it is. Then you can just continue on with your chain. I tend to do 15 to 20 chains in between each leaf. I typically don't count, I just chain until whatever length, and then I go back and I create another leaf. I also like to do each leaf a little bit different so that they look a little bit more organic and it's not all the same length. So the next leaf I'll make a little bit bigger and just add an extra double crochet. So in the second one, we're placing our single crochet. Then we'll place a half double crochet, then a double crochet, then another double crochet, then back down to a half double, skip a bump, and then slip stitch into that second chain. That makes another leaf. So then I'm just going to continue chaining until I want to make another leaf. I'll make the next one a bit bigger by incorporating a treble crochet. So I always start mine with a single crochet and I end them with a half double crochet, skipping one and then doing a slip stitch. The rest of the stitches in between, I tend to change up each one to make them all a little bit different in length and width. Some of them I do just one double, sometimes I do two, and sometimes I use a treble. So when I do a treble, I'll start with my single, then I'll do a half double, then a double, and that is all there is to it to make this chain. I do adjust my leaves a little bit as I go to make sure that they're sitting properly, but like I mentioned, I like to change them up every single time. I'll do some bigger, some shorter, some wider or skinnier, and make the gaps in between longer and shorter for each one, just to give it a bit of an organic feel. But it really doesn't matter because whatever you do, it'll turn out good. These are super quick to work up and you can make nice little cute decorations for your house. I'm planning to put some on my bookshelf and on my desk and maybe some around the tapestries around my bed. If you watched this all the way to the end, thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like this video and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so that you never miss a video. Thank you guys and I'll see you next week.